Right, so if we take and draw an altitude is constructed by performing the steps for a perpendicular from a point not on a line. Okay, and so what you may have to do, and what I'm going to do just to start here, is you may have to extend your lines a little bit so that you can construct your altitude. So if I extend my line a little bit here, I can extend this one as well. And then I can extend this one. All right, so if I extend my lines here a little bit, what I can then do is construct my perpendicular from a point not on a line. Okay, and so again, if you recall from that, you'll set your compass tip on one of the vertices. You'll construct an arc that passes through both sides of that opposite side. From each of those intersections, construct an arc. And when I connect that back to my vertex, that will be perpendicular. And so the portion of this that you're interested in is just the portion, again, up to the side length. And so really the only part of this that we're going to be using is going to be this part. That is the altitude right there. Right, now, this altitude doesn't necessarily bisect the other side. It only does if it's an isosceles triangle. Right, so that's not necessarily going to be a property that you would take into consideration. Right, so if we do the same thing from another vertex, okay, extend our compass, construct an arc that passes through both sides of that opposite, or on each side of that opposite side. From each of those intersections, construct an arc. And now, the fact that my compass here is sort of off the page, that's fine. I mean, if I looked at it, I could scroll over and find it. But remember, when you're constructing these, when you draw your arc from each of these arc side intersections, you can adjust it. It doesn't have to stay the same measure as the original. Right? If it can, that's just a useful way to save time, but it doesn't have to. Okay, so if we take this opposite vertex, connect back through this intersection. Okay, we have our next altitude. Thank you. And once again, the only portion of this that we are looking at as far as the altitude is concerned is this darkened portion. So there's our altitude, which means we found our orthocenter. Okay, but we can do one more just to verify that that is in fact the correct location. When we construct our arc through this final side, let me choose the actual side here. And so here is the actual side itself. Construct an arc through both sides, or on two sides of that opposite side. Adjust it if I need to. So in this case, from each of these intersections, construct an arc. So here's one, and here's my second. And now from this intersection, connect to that opposite vertex. And that's my final altitude. As you can see, the portion of this perpendicular that is my altitude is just the portion that connects the vertex to that opposite side. And then I can see that my common point here is my orthocenter.